Hello and welcome back to Bookish, and welcome back to my week of tags. My second tag this week. This Wednesday is the How to Adapt a Book Tag Redux. I was tagged by the fellows over at Codex Cantina. Thank you, Crypto and Una, for the tag. This tag was created by the folks over there at Seeking Stories. I'll leave links to both of their videos in the show notes down below, as well as the prompts for any of you who might want to do this tag. I thought this was fun. I have read books before and thought, that should be a movie, or I'd like to figure out how to write a screenplay so I can do that. Of course, screenplay writing is really specific and technical and something that I've never actually invested any time doing, so it's just one of those ego things where you assume, oh, I could write a screenplay for that. But it is fun to think about adapting books into movies or TV shows or plays or musicals or whatever, which is really what this tag is about. So I was kind of excited to get tagged to do this, but then as soon as I agreed to do the tag and my head said I'm going to do it, I thought, what book am I going to adapt? What book out there is it? What book is out there that wants to be made into a movie? And that took me some time. Eventually I decided on Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead by Olga Tokarczuk, which I read right at the end of last year, and I thoroughly enjoyed. So that's the book that I want to adapt, and that's what prompt one is. Which book deserves an adaptation? And so I'm going to go with Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead. Now, technically, this book's already been adapted into a Polish movie, I think, which is called Spur. I haven't seen it. I don't believe it's been adapted in English by a Hollywood movie company, so I'm just going to go ahead with it anyway. Question 2, I have obviously the prompts and answers on my phone. Question 2, which medium best suits the book? I'm going to say movie, even though I think Netflix or somebody like that could do a good job with a series of maybe 6 or 7 episodes and get into maybe more depth. But I'm just going to go with a movie for the time being. But, in the back of my mind also that kind of Netflix series might work. Question 3, what are you most excited about in this hypothetical adaptation? Okay, so Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead is set in Poland, right along, I believe, the border, right along the Czech border, and it's set in kind of a really isolated, remote, semi-wilderness area just outside a small town, kind of up in the mountains, and it's snowy, and I just think what would excite me most is the opportunity for the film to have, or the movie to have, really beautiful scenery, and to put the actors and the action in really beautiful places that look different than we see probably in a lot of movies. That's what I'd be most excited about. Prompt 4, which actors would portray the main characters? There are lots of characters in Drive Your Plow, and I only went with 3. So the main character is named Janina. She's the character who we're kind of see the story through, and I would go with Helen Mirren, of course, because if you're going to have someone play a slightly older character, hard to imagine somebody better than Helen Mirren. Another main character in the book is her neighbor, who she calls Oddball. She has nicknames for everybody, and Oddball helps her in all kinds of ways, and he worries about her and thinks about her, and I would choose Sir Ian McKellen to play Oddball. And then another main character in the book is a former student of Janina's, who she meets back up with, and who they spend time translating the works of William Blake from English into Polish, I believe, together. It's kind of almost like a meditative thing. And his name is Dizzy, or that's what she calls him. And I would go with Ben Whishaw for that part. Ben Whishaw plays Q in the more recentish versions of the James Bond movies. And I think he would be an ideal Dizzy here. So those would be my 3 characters. Prompt number, 5. Who should direct the adaptation? Okay, so the director I chose is Stephen Daldry. Stephen Daldry directed The Hours, and he directed The Reader. And there's something about the visuals, the pacing of those movies, the patience that he shows in those movies, which I think would be ideal for an adaptation of Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead. Because there is a lot of that contemplation that goes on, a lot of quietness that happens in the book, which I think he would do a great job with. Question 6, which scene or scenes are you most excited about seeing in this adaptation? And I would say just all of them that are set outdoors. Every scene set outdoors, I think, has an opportunity to be truly stunning and beautiful. And so any of the outdoor scenes I would be really excited to see. Prompt 7, what are you most nervous about with the potential adaptation? Okay, so the book is kind of like a murder mystery, but it's really also kind of an existential interior story about the value of life, the value of human life, the place of human beings in our natural setting, about, it's about, you know, the borderline between sanity and insanity, the spiritual world and the real world. There are all kinds of things like that. And what would worry me is if the director or the screenwriter put too much weight on the mystery and not enough on those kind of existential interior questions. I think it would be difficult to balance those two things, but I think Daldry could do it. Question 8, let's get real. Do you think this book has a shot at ever being adapted? And I would say yes. It wouldn't surprise me if somebody doesn't already have an agreement to do it. And again, it makes me nervous because I think they'll turn it more into a murder mystery than the other and focus more on that than the other things. Question 9, on that note, do you think there's a chance it could be a good adaptation? If you put the actors in it that I mentioned and the director I mentioned, it would come down to the screenwriter, and does the screenwriter write a great script? And then cinematography, does the cinematography capture the natural world and the beauty of the natural world? And if so, I think it could be an excellent movie in the sense that it would, be perhaps an Oscar contender, but not necessarily a big box office movie. And then the final question is question 10, describe your ideal version of this book adaptation. I would say it's kind of a character study that focuses on natural beauty, interior thoughts. It's meditative, while at the same time preserving the characteristics of a mystery. I think if it was all that, it would make a great movie. So there you go. There's my version of the how to adapt a book tag Redux. It doesn't say to tag people, but I can't help but think about adapting books into movies. Whenever I think about that, I naturally think of Jason from Old Blues Chapter and Verse. So Jason, I'm tagging you to do this tag because I think it's kind of one of those things that's right up your alley, and you would have fun thinking about it and doing it if you haven't already. Anyway, there you go. Look forward to your comments in the comment section below. As always, thank you for watching.